Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Ankit. I'm a June 2020 graduate from VIT University Chennai campus. Currently, I work at ZS Associates. This video is a part of the series called Placement Process Explained. In this series, I have interviewed different people and tried to know how the placement process works at different companies so that you can have an idea of what to expect when you're applying to different companies. You can find the other videos on different companies on my channel. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and also join me on Telegram so that you can get regular updates from my channel. With that, let's begin. Hi, Sagnik. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Ankit. Thank you for having me here.
So, how are you, first of all?
I'm good.
Okay. Let's begin with your introduction. So, please tell us which college have you graduated from, what was your branch, and what was your CGPA when you were applying for placements, and which company did you finally get placed in?
Yeah. So I've done my BTech from VIT Chennai. My branch was electronics and computer, and I'm a 2020 year pass out. So the company where I'm placed in is TCS, and I'm in its digital, and I'm a digital select. And my CGPA when I was applying for this particular company was near about 8.6. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what is your profile in TCS Digital, and what does your day-to-day work look like in simple terms?
Yeah. So the profile which I've been offered is that of a systems engineer. And apart from that, when you start working in the company, you are offered various roles, which is based on the project.
Okay.
So the base role which you get is that of a systems engineer if you're selected in TCS Digital.
Okay. All right. So, what were the prerequisites for this company? As in, was there any minimum CGPA criteria or, limitations in terms of which branches were eligible to apply?
Yeah. So the one good thing about this particular company is it doesn't segregate based on the branches. As in our case, all the branches in our college were allowed to sit for this particular company. And even for the CGPA requirements, I guess a 7+ is decent enough. And you would be allowed to write the exam, and based on your exam scores, you would be further called for interviews. So that's it.
Okay. All right. So, how many rounds were there in total?
Okay. So for TCS, there are two steps in which they conduct the selection process.
Okay.
So in VIT, as in our case, they have a separate digital exam, which comes specifically to select for the systems engineer post. And apart from that, you also have an NQT exam. So these are two rounds, and for both of them, they have their own selection process.
Okay. Okay, so these are the two different methods through which TCS recruits into digital profile. You mean one is through
Yes,
direct digital
absolutely.
selection, and the other one is through NQT.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so through which one did you get selected?
Yeah. So as per in my case, I had written the NQT as my first step, and based on my performance in NQT, you are further called to write the digital exam, which is the second step once you write the NQT. And yeah, so this is how I got selected into for the
Okay.
digital.
So the first is the NQT, and you got selected there. Then you were called for digital, and
Yes.
you wrote the
Yes.
digital examination. And after that, was there an interview or something?
Yes, yes. So once you are able to clear both these rounds of exams, which is obviously an online exam, you are then further called on for a face-to-face interview. So yeah, so this is the entire process for digital.
Okay. So
Even for like for the normal digital rounds which are being conducted in our college, over there you have just one exam, which is your TCS digital examination, which is again an online examination. And post that, if you are able to clear the exam, you are again called for the interview. So
Okay.
these are
So,
different ways how they are
mhm.
recruiting for
So
TCS.
summarizing this in and through NQT, if you get selected, there is just that one extra step of writing NQT. Otherwise, the rest of the steps are same: digital exam and then interview.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay, all right. So we would like to know in detail about these rounds. So I mean, what was the NQT round like? What were the sections and how was the difficulty level? Was it very difficult and everything? So please elaborate about that.
Yeah. So for the first NQT round, you have three sections. One is the verbal, one is the apti, and the third is your coding round. So the verbal and the quants section are, I would say, it's on a medium level, where if you have a fair amount of practice, you would be comfortable with it. And for the coding section also, you have two questions, and you have mostly all the language options in which whichever is your preferred one. So these are the three sections which is there for the NQT.
Okay, okay. So did you refer to any books while preparing or any websites that you would like to recommend?
I guess for quants, like you can refer, like there are various materials online, like even
Hmm.
for geeks, for you would be practicing from geeks for geeks. So I think that's sufficient for both quants and the coding section.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so this was about the NQT. After this, you said that there was a digital examination. So how was it different from the NQT? What were the sections there?
Yeah, so for the digital exam, I would say the questions in the verbal and the quants were on a slightly difficult side, but the
Okay.
coding rounds for both NQT first and the digital exams were at par, means there was not much difference between both these rounds. Only quants and verbal, which I felt were at a higher difficulty level, but rest all of it was of the same pattern.
Okay, okay. Do you remember the questions from coding? I mean, what topics were they from broadly, not specifically, but broadly, if you could remember, what topics need to be
Yeah.
focused for those questions? Yeah.
So for coding, you'll have two questions,
Hmm.
and out of which one would be an easy question, and the second question would be of a moderate level, and it's not very difficult. I think if you're in continuous touch with just the syntax of the particular language you would be using, that would be like you won't have much difficulties in tackling those coding questions. So
Okay.
that's it. Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. So after these two levels, there was the interview round. So please elaborate that round as well. How many interviewers were there? What were the questions they were asking you?
Yes. So even for the interview, there would be only just one round where you'll be having both a person who would be taking a managerial round, and another person who would be taking your technical interview. So both of that is conducted together,
Okay.
and most of the questions would revolve around your resume. So it's more of how well versed you are with your resume and what other projects you have done. So you just need to be thorough with it, and yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, okay. So from your interview experience, what can you recollect? Were they looking for a particular type of person or a person who has knowledge about a particular language? Was it like that? I mean, how would you summarize it?
Yeah.
What were they looking for in a person?
Yes. So what I understood was it doesn't matter which branch or what kind of projects you are specifically doing. What matters is the intent of why you have done that particular project and what exactly you were trying to learn and why you did that project. And you need to know about the in the the basic fundamentals of whatever you have used for in a project. So if you have done any project on IoT, so you need to justify that why you have used a particular framework, or what exactly you have done in the project and how it's going to be beneficial. So
Hmm.
you need to talk on those terms as well.
Okay.
So that's pretty much.
Okay, okay, all right. I think we have covered pretty much everything about the process. Any other details or any other tips that you would like to give to the students based on your experience? I mean, it can be anything throughout the 4 years, what they need to do, what they need to study, how they need to be in the, how they need to prepare for the placements specifically, anything from your side.
Uh, I guess for the TCS specifically, what I experienced was, since you have your exam on their own online platform, which is like built by TCS. So for the if you're using Python, like it's just a advice for everybody who would be using Python. So they have the compiler, which is the second version which they are using for their online platform. So you need to be familiar with that syntax. I don't know if it's updated right now. So just before writing the exam, you just need to check on the version of a particular language which would be supported in their online platforms, or else your logic would be correct. Even there have been many cases when people have been struggling in compiling the code, even if the entire code was correct. So you just need to be a bit familiar with their online platform. So that's it. And as far as the practice, I guess it's almost similar for all the companies. So there's no specific like preparation which is required for this particular exam. Your normal quants and verbal practice would be sufficient for this, and even the coding rounds are not very difficult. So if you are in practice for even a month, I guess you would be able to ace the rounds.
Okay. One more question I have in my mind, Sagnik. How many people did TCS Digital select from the campus? If you could remember that.
Uh, if I combine the numbers from both the digital and the second round, which they have held, where
Mm-hmm.
they selected students based on NQT performance, the
Mm-hmm.
finance selections were, I guess, more than 300.
Okay.
So many people dropped off later, but I guess the total count was
Mm-hmm.
300 per.
Okay. Okay. Since TCS has those many requirements, I think TCS is presenting very good opportunity for the students.
Yes, yes, it
Okay.
totally depends on their own business requirements. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Sagnik. I think we have covered majority of the points, and our viewers would find this useful. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Ankit. Thank you for having me here.
Okay. I hope you found the video useful. Do subscribe to the channel and join me on Telegram to not miss any updates. Thank you.